jump in. I like participation. The way this is designed, hopefully everything will dovetail together so you can go from the very beginning of preparing for your job search, going through the interview process, going through salary negotiation. The big thing is going to be on preparation. The market has changed a lot since 2008. It's really changed. So, and occasionally I call on people. I don't want to put you on the spot. So if you're uncomfortable with it, just wave me off, and that's fine. I'll call on somebody else. The other thing that I would like you to think about is I need you to, right now I'm trying to find out where we stand in terms of experience, how many of you are looking for a job, how many of you are looking for a career change, and we'll do this somewhat anonymously with a show of hands, but how many of you are looking for employment right now? Wow. Okay, how many of you are looking to make a career change? That's great. Some or both. And that's good also. I'd like to find out just a little bit, who wants to volunteer and tell me what they've been doing in terms of searching for a job in the last year or so? Anyone? Show of hands. I saw a lot of people that were looking for a job. What has been the tack that you've taken? How do you find? Yeah. Networking. Right. Okay. All right. Anyone on the job boards? Anyone watching the boards? Resumes, mailing resumes. Anyone doing that? No one's mailing resumes. Huh? Online, yeah. But you're doing your own resume, posting it online? Good. Well, as I said when we opened, things have changed a lot. And what do I do here, Jeff? Arrows.
Button on the side, turn it on.
Okay.
There we go.
So it's a whole new job market, and year in and year out, we tend to hunt for jobs in the same way. However, employers haven't. We keep using the same way. Normally, these sessions that we have on a regular every Tuesday during the year, and we've been doing it for 5 years. So many people will say there are no jobs, there is no response. It's a terrible market. I can't find anything, and that's the biggest thing that we're going to be focusing on today and through the next 5 weeks. There are a lot of jobs. A little later in this session, if we don't run out of time, we're going to talk about where they are and how to find them. As employers have changed their tactics, I don't know how many of you were looking for jobs before 2008, but employers would usually, it was a good market, there was a lot of excitement, they were over-hiring. And they were they were recruiting like crazy. They were making a lot of money. And so they were out soliciting resumes. They were posting a lot of jobs online. It wasn't uncommon to get an interview. But that changed. Most of us historically, if we've been around for a while, we like resumes. We're used to resumes, whether it's posting them online or mailing them. Somebody posts a job, we mail them. They'll ask for resumes either online and the postings. They'd make jobs available. They'd tell us what it's all about. Well, in tough times, as it has been since 2008, everything's changed. It's much easier for them to find people. As a matter of fact, The average job availability, the average job opening usually gets around 128 applicants. So you got to kick up your game to be a player. They don't need your resume. They don't read your resumes. And they don't post vacancies anymore. So it makes it a little harder to find a job if you don't know the jobs out there. If you don't know where to send a resume, if you don't know what to do in lieu of a resume. We go out and we search. Again, it's a common theme. We hear it at all of our meetings. I'm looking, there are no jobs. It's kind of like going out in the morning, like we might have a couple of weeks ago, to try to start your old faithful car and it doesn't start. Whatever's worked before is not working now. However, the good news is right now, today, there are over 4,000 job openings in Omaha. And they're not all in food service. There are some good jobs out there. But the employers are holding out for their dream employee. They're being much more selective. They can get 10 great applicants and they say, well, maybe we ought to wait and see if we can't find somebody better. They're taking much longer to hire people. Currently, over 30% of the people that are unemployed spent or are still spending over a year to find a job. We hear about it all the time. You know, what is the real job market? What is the real unemployment? How many people have quit? How many people have given up because of this tough screening that they put out there for us? So it's an ongoing battle. They now overscreen. It's not uncommon. You probably see this all the time if you've been applying. You must be currently employed. Well, y'all seen that? Is that common? They all want you to be currently employed. That's a big thing they're looking for. You must have direct hands-on experience. You know, and you look at the name of the company and what they do and you say, I don't have that experience. The reason they can be so selective and the reason they are being so selective is that the economy is still unsteady. Even, you know, we just got a State of the Union message. It sounded pretty good. We had a lot of retaliation that says the economy isn't that good. I don't think we really know, good or bad. But employers, rather than get themselves into the situation they were in back in 2008, they're much more adverse to taking risks. Now, there's always been some of that. I can tell you that historically, when you've been looking, the biggest thing, and even though they would be a little bit more open and take a few more chances, they were always still concerned about, is this the right person for the job? Because it reflects directly on the person that offers the job to you. And they want to make sure you can do the job. But it's gotten much, much tougher. They really can't, they don't feel they can afford to make those kind of mistakes. The other big change is that the length of the average job hunt has increased. Today, when I went to work, when I got out of school, of course, there were only about 3 or 4 companies in the United States then. It was at the revolution, during the Revolution, but it was quite a bit different. When you got out of college, when you were going to college, the whole trend was, I want to, you know, you're supposed to have a job forever. You wanted to interview a company that had this upward mobile track, and you were going to sign up, you were going to do everything right, get in there, and you'd have that employment forever. You'd retire there, you'd get your gold watch. That's no longer the case. This is reflected in several things. If you're not working, if you're having a really tough time finding a job and you need income, I would encourage you to go to a temp agency. They're a lot different than they used to be. They are growing by leaps and bounds. They're having a heyday right now. And the reason for that is the employer would like to, first of all, just hire enough people that they need for a certain project, or secondly, they would rather have you come in for 30 to 90 days and evaluate your work ethic and whether or not you're the right candidate rather than risk another turnover. So temp agents are very, very strong at reflecting what's going on now. Here's an interesting statistic that I just found over the weekend. 20 to 30% of Fortune 100 employees, that's Fortune 100, not 500, have part-time jobs, and it's predicted to rise 50% in the next 5 years. Ongoing trend, part-time work, or starting you out in a temporary position. Because of this trend, there is no good chance we will be looking, or there is a good chance that we'll be looking for a job again. And that's why I hope you'll take some of this material, or a lot of this material, seriously. Unlike before, unlike in my day, get a job, work the same place, get your watch and leave. You're going to make some changes. And most of us will have 4 careers in our lifetime and 8 jobs. So you're going to have to stay current. You're going to have to know what's going on. You're going to have to be aware of what's important to you. So there's a real premium for all of us in being masters of our job hunt. Job hunting has moved more and more online, as we've just discussed. Job hunting has been around for a long, online job hunting has been around for a long time. And we all remember Monster and GoDaddy, well, not GoDaddy, but a couple of the others, CareerLink. They've all morphed into other companies. But the big thing that's changed is the employers have changed their method of recruiting. And they're recruiting online, and they're looking for those keywords, and they're looking that you have what it takes to match up with what they're looking for. The big thing that's changed is they're using social media. They're using Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. As we hear on TV every day, it's harder and harder to hide. We have all this fun with our Facebook page and our postings and everything, but we don't always think about what the impact might be on our career. Some movie stars have recently had a little bit of experience with that. More importantly, and what's really changing rapidly right now is we've all been looking on computers, and companies are looking more and more at looking for you on your mobile devices. So you've got to be ready for an interview at any time. If you've gone out and made a posting, they may call you on your cell phone. They may send information to you on your cell phone, and you've got to be ready for that interview, or answer in time to tell them to arrange a different time. So the other thing that is a challenge for us is we're speaking 2 different languages. And for some of you that are over 30, over 35, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see a job posting and they'll tell you what they want, and you go in and you go, what just happened? I don't recall that this is what I was setting out to do. Take the word skills. You immediately think that they want you to be maybe an analyzer, good at research, communicating. That's not what they're looking for. That's what skills have always meant to me. But they're looking, skills for them now mean experience. The other difference that's happened is that we used to, as I said, back before 2008, everything was designed where they were reaching out to us. The new design is built for them. You want a hiring game, and they want an elimination game. And have you had some interviews lately? Been eliminated? I mean, it's all about elimination. And we're used to going in and having everything, we think we've got it nailed, and we think we're going to be hired, and they figure out a way to eliminate us. So during this next 5 weeks, we're going to discuss in great detail how to avoid being one of the people that are eliminated. We want them to show initiative in looking for you. They want you to take the initiative. They're no longer looking for you. You're going to have to look for them. It's not unlike looking for a needle in a haystack. But again, once you know the secrets, it works pretty well. You want to be measured by your resume. You put everything on there, sometimes way too much. And they want to know what you're actually all about. They want to know everything about you. Your resume is just one tool. I've forever had a problem with resumes, and mainly because if anyone in this room has ever been in a position to hire people, you know that a resume only reflects about 50 to 60% of why you hire someone. It isn't until you meet them that you find out how they present themselves, their appearance, how they handle themselves, their work ethic, whether or not it's somebody that you want to actually have working for you and sitting beside day in and day out. You look at core values, the value of the company, the core values you have to offer. They look at risk. They're constantly looking. Yeah, you have everything they need, but can I take this risk? Is this somebody that will stay? Is on and on. They're not willing to make that same commitment to you, though. You may be willing to stay, and you ask them, how do I know you'll be here in 5 years? How do I know I'll have a company or a job to work for in 5 years? They don't like that comeback, but it's part of what they're asking. You just, like I said, there's 4,000 jobs in Omaha. I looked at some of the postings. There's some great jobs out there right now. And you learn what we're going to do today and over the next 5 weeks is learn how to advance our game and do a better job. Most employers hunt for job hunters, different than job hunters hunt for them, and that's what we've just been discussing. How do you guys look for a job? See, give me feedback. What is the way you've been using? What's worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? Yeah. Volunteering, good way to find a job.
Right. Usually on volunteer, you're privy to the bulletin board that they have for their employees. And while you're looking at that, you can look at and talk to some of their employees there and get a good feel for what is required.
Absolutely. Hi, Frank.
Networking.
Huh? Networking, yeah. Yeah, that's a great way. How many primarily focus on resumes, online postings? Show of hands? Yeah. Again, in our regular group, our regular Tuesday group here, it's not uncommon that a good part of that group is using that method. There are also a few of those people in that group that have been in the group for a couple of years. So we need to teach you new ways to find those jobs. Of what?
Applying to jobs online and networking at the same time. So if you apply for a job online, and then you know someone who works at the company, use LinkedIn and try someone who works at the company.
Yeah.
Get that person to
Absolutely. So if we just summarize what I've covered here in the last 10, 15 minutes, there's something to learn from this, and that is that, whoa. Well, I'm out of order here, but anyway, it's he or she that gets hired is not necessarily the one who can do the job best. But the one that has prepared for the interview and knows what they're looking for and knows how to present themselves, are usually the ones that get the job. So you're going to have to do it all. You're going to have to know how, you're going to have to be the best qualified, and you're going to also have to be, know what you're doing and be well prepared for that interview. Now I'm going to introduce you to Jeff. Jeff is going to talk about Google and Google as your new resume.